In today's world, where the rainfall pattern is not predictable, and then the increase in population and the global warming is a threat to food security. There's the need to have sustainable way of producing food. And because of this, northern Ghana is the most needed of such sustainable ways. Other than that, we will still have people struggle to produce food in the dead land and the inadequate rain, where at the end we always have poor harvest. In view of this, the team expansion has intended or is in collaboration with Faako Aquaponics to set up a very beautiful aquaponics system in their site at Bupe in the northern region to serve as a training center and also to replicate that to other marginal farmers in the other communities. You might be wondering who, or if I say team expansion, what does that mean? Team expansion is a faith-based organization with its headquarters in the United States of America, and it has branches across the globe. And they are very active in the Savannah region of Ghana, Bupe specifically. And they train people in organic farm production and best agricultural practices. And in view of this, they have decided to incorporate aquaponics into their production. Now, my task here simple to train their staff on how to manage tilapia farm and aquaponics farm. And at the end, we set up this system. We have been there for 3 days now. The training has been successful, and we are going to share with you how the training has been for the 3 days. And we wish that even though the video is going to be a lengthy one, but it's worth it. If you follow it to the end, you are going to learn a lot. And one will be wondering, what is aquaponics? Aquaponics is a system of growing plants or crops with fish or aquaculture. So you raise fish and you raise crops in the same system, serving as a symbiotic system where the water is being purified for the fish and the fish also get clean water from the plants. And all of this at the end, you are going to harvest two things, fish and crops. That's exactly what we are doing here. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and please stay watching. I'll give you more details about updates of this system. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Abdulaziz Issa. The training is going to be 3 sessions. We have the theory, that's what we are having here. And we want to have the theory done by the end of this day. Then tomorrow, we can start setting up the small farm. And then that will be the practical session. So it's going to be in two-fold. So basically, what we are going to learn here, when we set up the farm, then we have the practical feeling. So some of the things you might not feel it very well during the theory session. But when we get to the practical, everything will be fine. And I want the presentation to be discussion. Then we share ideas. We are all learning, and then through the idea sharing, the interaction will be lovely. And then at the end, we shall all learn one or two things together. So now, this is a farm. I set this farm at Accra, Kaswa. That's a part of Greater Accra region. So that's where I set this farm. I just kept the image there for you to have a look. Now, so the goal of this training, initially I knew I was coming to have interaction with two of you, just to get here and they inform me that it's not love with you. And yeah, let me even welcome you because the last time I came, we were still struggling to get to Ghana. So you're welcome to Ghana once again. Yes. So now the goal is to set up and manage a 500 capacity tilapia pond using the rest of aquatic system. But the thing is that fish farming is very rewarding. But if you don't also get it right, it's very disastrous. So to set up the farm and manage it very well, we need to know how to do it. And that's the essence of this training. So after the training, then we set up the farm. So the second thing is that we will integrate the pond with aquaponics. And aquaponics is a system of growing vegetables or crops and fish, where the waste water from the fish pond will pass through the roots of the crops. Then the roots will absorb the nitrates, ammonia, and other harmful chemicals, use it for growth, and purify it, and the water will turn back into the pond. So it's going to be a symbolic uh, presentation. And at the end of it, you will get fish and get crops at the same time. So that's aquaponics. And so we shall also have that set up in this training. Now also look at how to maintain water quality. This is very, very important because fish, water is life when it comes to fish. So if you don't manage the water quality well, you have the chances of losing all the fish. You have had instances. I even myself personally, I've had that experience. You come to your farm one day and all your fish are gone. They are dead just because you fail to put some maintenance or to maintain the water very well. So we shall look at these things, how to maintain your water and to keep your fish. And then finally, we'll grow both the vegetables and the fish. Like we said, that's the aquaponics. So basically, that's the essence of the training. And at the end of this training, we have to achieve these goals because these are our targets here. Now, um, so we are going to have it in two phases, like I mentioned earlier, the theory and then the practical. So the theory, we shall just look at the terminologies, the things that are required. Then when we set up the farm as a practical aspect on the day 2 to day 3, then we have the practical feeling of everything. And so basically that is it. So like I said, the theory, we are going to look at some basic principles. And now we said fish farming. These are just simple explanation, but you throw more light on it just to make it more comprehensive. Like I mentioned earlier, I want it to be an interaction session. Then we can all learn from each other. We are all learning. When Mr. Graham introduced said, a master, I'm not a master. We are all learning. So we are learning together. So apart from now, these terms that I captured here, growing fish like tilapia in tanks or ponds for food or income. Is there any way that we can explain this or define fish farming for a layman or someone who is seeing the word at the first time? How can we able to explain it to the person? So can you share what know about fish farming? When you say fish farming, what does that mean?
So I'm a little
You mind?
familiar.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah,
on. It's on.
okay. I'm a little familiar with the like I've been to fish hatcheries
Okay,
before back in the States,
okay,
and so I've seen like all the pools, and I've got the filtration system.
okay.
I know I think some places I don't know if we'd be doing that with these. Sometimes the fish will grow like slightly faster than the others, so you have to like rotate them between ponds depending on their size.
Yeah.
Um, Once they get to a certain size, I know it's like every farm you harvest them eventually. Uh, I know a little bit about the nitrates and
Okay.
nitrates
Yeah.
components just because I work a little bit with fish back home. So I'm hoping to just build on that knowledge a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what we could like grow with the aquaponic system, but that's
Okay.
more a matter of just what's available, I think. So it's up to you what we want to try to grow then.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Like you made mention, so even some of these things, changing them from point to point, so that what we call sorting. So we shall come to that. That's all part of what we are going to discuss and what we will practice here. And now, uh, fish farming is a method of raising fish in a controlled environment. You say controlled environment, you as a farmer or the grower of the fish, you have identified where you want to keep the fish. And you are controlling their attitude or their behavior in the pond. And that means that you provide them with feed, water quality maintenance, and all the things that are required to grow them. Unlike the wild fish, where they're in the water bodies, nobody gives them feed, Nobody cares about how they they eat. It is done by nature. So that's the natural fish. But in fish farming, you are the farmer. Either you hatch them yourself or you buy them from a hatching service and you decide to keep it. So the welfare of the fish is now in the hand of the farmer, and that's the fish farming. But in situation where a fisherman goes to the natural water bodies, harvest the fish and sell the whatever he does to them. So this is not fish farming because it's fishing. So he has not raised the fish. But situation where you raise the fish, do whatever you want to do with it, that's the fish farming. Now, there are several species of fish that we farm, or types of fish that we farm. Even though this setup, we are going to look at tilapia. So we'll talk more about tilapia here. But we also have catfish. Even here in Africa, that's the most commonly farmed. And the reason is that sometimes, especially our weather condition here, and catfish, they are strong and adaptive. So sometimes they grow better here. But tilapia too, we produce them. And apart from them, we also have kwai. Some of these like kwai, that beautiful fish. Personally, I've not seen it practically like this, but I know at USA and other developed world, they have them more. Uh-huh. There are a lot of fish that we produce. But here we're looking at tilapia. And we are growing tilapia for this season because they grow fast. They also survive critical weather conditions, unlike other type of fish. And then they are also plant-based feed eaters. What I mean is that not only giving them the commercial feed, sometimes we can also have plant-based. We have azolla, we have darkweed, and there are other plants that tilapia eat those plants. So if you are raising tilapia and you also want to reduce the cost of feed, you can grow these plants and feed them with it. That will reduce your cost and that can also give them healthy and more importantly organic fish. Because I know here we like organic, yeah, and we are producing things organically. So now they are adaptive to plant-based feed and that's fine. So now uh, we look at stocking density. Stocking density. This has to do with the amount of fish we put in a pond. This is very important. It is important because when you overstock your fish, they are likely going to have water crisis because you stock them more, they produce more waste. And every day you see the water becomes dirty because of the more waste they produce. Apart from that, there's no space for them. When they are fingerlings, just small, small like this, they'll be all right. But once they grow and they are bigger in size, then the pond becomes small. And for that matter, they will not be growing fast. I'm giving you the disadvantage of overstocking. When you also overstock your fish, they'll be competing for oxygen and other stuffs. So at the end, if they don't die, but they will not perform well. Likewise, if you also understock your fish, that means that you have stocked small number of fish as compared to the capacity of the pond. In that case too, you have left a lot of fish behind, which you could have stocked and probably if you are intending for business to make more money. So there's a way that we balance to know how many fish do you stock in a pond. And basically, we stock 10 fish to 20 fish per 1,000 liter. I said 10 to 20 depending on the setup. If you are using flotation system, you can stock up to 20 per 1,000 liter of water and they'll be all right. But if you are not using flotation system, it is ideal to be at 10. So usually we recommend the 10 for faster growth. Now, how do you determine the size of the pond? I'll show you a simple calculation. Often the ponds they'll give you in feet. Let's say they'll just say 5 by 10 feet, 5 feet by 10 feet. Most of pond sellers, fish pond sellers, tarpaulin, and once you ask what's the size of the pond, they tell you that 5 by 10 feet. Now you have to know how many liters by how many liters can this pond hold. After now knowing the number of liters it can hold, then you can now calculate the stocking density to know if they give me 5 by 10 pond, I can stock this number of fish inside. So you will not overstock and you will not understock. So now if they say it's a 5 by 10, so to get the volume of the water, which is why we convert it to liters. So now you have the volume. I think we can set it so that it won't be sleeping. Yeah, it won't sleep faster. So to know the volume, so the volume is so now they only give you height or width. Now, so the length times width or breadth, if one times height. Now, the height, so this is the formula for calculating the volume. So the length, which is the longest side, is 10 times the width or breadth, which is 5 times. Most of the times they don't give the height, which is the standard of the pond, but uh, the best is usually most often they make the pond in 4 feet, and then when you are filling the water, you will leave 1 feet unfilled, so you fill 3 feet. So when you're calculating the volume, you will take the tray because you are not filling it to brim. So you will take it by tray. So we now have the volume. So we multiply 10 by 5 by 3. Then so let's do the calculation.
Be 150.
150. Yeah. Okay. So now this is 150. So I will multiply that by 3. So 10 times 5 times 3. So we add a 3 to it. Can you see the calculator? Okay. So we have 10 by 5 by 3, 150. Let's to confirm. So now 150. So this is not the final result. We need to convert this to liters. So to convert it to liters, the standard liter. So in the standard liter, 1 cubic feet. This is feet. Cubic. I'm just giving you the scenario then. So now cubic feet. 1 cubic feet. What is the conversion? This is general, which is volume. That's liters in volume, equal to 28.317. Right? Can you confirm that? I've not checked it for a long time, but this is the conversion rate. So now to get this in volume, we simply multiply 28 by 28.317 by 150. So let's do that. So times 28.317, which is 4,247. So in liters, which is equal to volume equal to 4,247.55. Now, and we said earlier that we should stock 10 fish to 1,000 liters. So we simply divide this number by 10.
Mhm.
So if we divide it by 10, then so let's divide this by 10. So we divide this by 10. So we have 224. So 224. So we can stock the fish we can stock is 424. The calculation that we have.
Mhm.
Yes. And like I said earlier, if you have a flotation, you can even stock 500 here because we said from 10 fish to 20 fish is for 10 for 1,000 liters. So we have taken the minimum one, 10. So I just wanted you to get the formula or how you calculate it so that when you are given the fish pond, this is the size, and you know how to calculate it. You know you're supposed to take the number of this fish. Now, if you get this right, then your fish can grow very well without competing for space. But most often, people want to get small space and stock more fish, believing that they can harvest more fish. The thing is that when you do that, you are going to put a lot of tension on the fish and they will not grow well. Yes. So what is also very important is feeding. Feeding. Feeding is the food given to the fish. Now, we need to be very careful here. The quality of the feed and the feeding practice will help your fish to either do well or perform worse. Let's start with the quality of the feed. If you don't give the fish the right and quality feed, the feed that contains almost all the nutrients for them to grow. And the thing is that at different stages of the fish life, the feed is made of different nutrients at different sizes. The fish feet are made of pellets. So when they are smaller, like juvenile, fingerless, we start with the starter feet, usually which is 0.2 mm to 1 mm. Very small particles because it is for their mouth to take. Because themselves, their mouths are smaller and their stomach smaller. So we give them small, small feet and then they eat. Now, we look at the nutritional proportion of